Chatback on RCV News.
It's great to know that you are tuned in. And just a reminder that this conversation is live on Facebook. You go to your Facebook and search for RCV News. RCV News is a platform where we post everything current affairs. So come through and let's get interactive on that platform. The number is 0956 200 490. That's the number that you are going to use to get in touch with this studio. All right, this morning we do have an interesting topic. We are looking at, what's been happening. And the topic of discussion this morning is Zambia going to have 9 parliamentary by-elections? Is Zambia going to have 9 parliamentary by-elections? My guest this morning is Kamfinsa, Member of Parliament, Honorable Christopher Kang'ombe, who is also the PF National Youth Chairperson. Good morning and welcome to Chatback.
Good morning, Angel. Quite the right time to invite me to come and talk to the public.
Yeah.
I've been so busy the last couple of months trying to balance schoolwork. I was trying to further my studies, balance work in the constituency, create time for family, as well as do my work in National Assembly. So I'm happy that I'm back at Radio Christian Voice, to come and interact with the viewers and the listeners.
Yeah, it's always a privilege to have you on this particular platform.
I
like the way you looked at me when I said PF National Youth Chairperson. Has there been any changes?
No, there haven't been any changes.
Yeah.
Just a lot happening internally within the party.
Yeah, internally within the party. I think let's start from there.
Yes.
First of all, before we get to the genesis of everything, were you in the House when this announcement, this ruling was passed, to declare
my seat and others vacant?
Yes.
Yes, I was.
And how did you receive this news?
Well, first of all, the procedure of Parliament is that any matter that will be tabled in Parliament has to be on the order paper. So the order paper is sent to us a day before. That is the procedure. So if we are going to discuss the energy crisis, we must be aware as parliamentarians a day before. So there must be an item on the order paper. If we're going to discuss the high cost of living, the item must be on the order paper. If it's a ministerial statement, you can't just be ambushed. So the day before the ruling, which was actually a Monday, is it a Tuesday?
A Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday was a public holiday. We looked at the order paper sent to us. It had specific items, and not that item relating to the ruling on the point of order raised by Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa was not on the order paper. So we assumed, today is a Wednesday. Yeah, we have feelers that this matter might be on the order, a ruling might be delivered. But because the item is not on the order paper, Angel, what do? You sit comfortably knowing, today we are safe. So I was shocked like anyone else. Even I'm sure my colleagues from the UPND were equally shocked because that item was not on the order paper.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually just wondering if rulings are also supposed to be on order papers.
Yes, a ruling is supposed to be on the order paper.
On the order paper.
Because a ruling is an activity that will be transacted. The decision of the speaker has to be announced through a ruling. So you can't just wake up in the morning and say, we have parliament at 11. Let me quickly deliver a ruling. The speaker has an obligation. And it's actually in line with Standing Order 57 under the new rules. But let me tell you the funny part. The funny part, or the strange part, was that after the speaker delivered the ruling, around 16 thereabout, is it 16 or 17? Then they realized, whoever was managing that whole process, from National Assembly all the way to the speaker, deputy speaker himself, they realized we've just delivered a ruling which is not on the order paper. So what did they do? 1807. They decide to amend the order paper. So now the question is, how do you amend an order paper on business that has already been transacted? It's as good as saying you have a meeting, a board meeting, you want your company to borrow money. After the money has been borrowed, then you realize, colleagues, we've borrowed money without the board's approval. What do? Let's quietly, as if no one will notice. So there's already an illegality. That ruling was illegal based on that simple principle. Before we come to the other principles.
Yeah, all right. I'm no expert of these constitutional matters, really,
Exactly.
and you know, stuff that has to do with the National Assembly. So, we would like to get, you know, explanation so that the layman really understands
What is happening.
So, what is happening as far as the layman is concerned? Your seat and 8 other seats, members of parliament that do belong to the Patriotic Front, were declared vacant. And from the news that we are hearing, just news yesterday, is that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has received that notice
notified, yes.
from the National Assembly. But let's study it all of to last year. Let's go to last year.
Exactly.
December. Why were you expelled from the Patriotic Front? From what we got, it was due to insubordination and indiscipline. That's what
According
we got.
to the authors of the letter, yes.
Yes, that's what we got. Why were you and the 8 others expelled from the party?
Well, so what transpired last year, I'll try and bring everyone up to speed. But before I do that, I need to put something on record. Zambia is a constitutional democracy. So each country will choose what documents will guide their conduct. So for Zambia, we have a constitution, meaning our democracy, how we elect representatives, is guided by a document called the Constitution. So any subsidiary legislation has to be guided by the Constitution. So we have a new constitution as at 2016. Remember, Angel, that previously we had constitution amendments. The new government comes in, they change a few things. So 2016, a few things were amended in our constitution. So, and I will refer to that as we have this conversation. So last year, a conference took place at Mulungushi. You do recall that Honorable Mao Sampa, working with a few others, decided to hold a conference. Now, Honorable Mao Sampa and 9 others were presidential candidates who applied to contest as presidents, to be presidents of PF. Okay? And the process started. Now, midway, Honorable Mao Sampa calls a retreat at Mulungushi. Okay? Well publicized, they were going to have a retreat, and later on the retreat turns into a conference. And amongst themselves, I don't know what happened because I wasn't there inside, but they managed to pick one of them and say, Honorable Mao Sampa, you now be PF president. Now, PF as a political party has got its own rules. It's a club, so the club states how a president is elected, and then the president appoints the Secretary General. So the Secretary General is an appointee of the president. You don't elect SG. So a court process began where the party decided to say, look, we already have a process and you're one of the people who wants to stand as president. So this activity you conducted at Mulungushi, in our view, is not a general conference to elect a president. So the matter went to court. Okay? So fast forward to our expulsion. So those of us who understand the procedure that has to be followed to elect a party president did challenge the election of Honorable Mao Sampa as PF president. We challenged, and that court process is ongoing. As I speak, we have court processes actually ongoing. Now, based on that challenge, you hold a press briefing. The way I've come here today, I clarify to the public, this is the provision in the PF Constitution. Based on those issues we raised, myself and the other 9 were expelled. Now, after we were expelled, we did seek, we took a court action.
On the 12th of December.
We took a court action, yes, in the Constitutional Court. And the reason we took the matter to the Constitutional Court was that there was an issue pertaining to Article 60 of the Republican Constitution. That is why NJY started by stating that we are a constitutional democracy. So Article 60 in the Constitution of Zambia is a new provision. It was never there before. What is there now is that there is a provision in the Constitution of Zambia which talks about political parties, how political parties will be funded. So under Article 60, there's a provision under 2E. Now, that provision simply talks about respecting the rights of members to participate in the affairs of a political party. That's a constitution saying every political party, whether you are an Arab, whether you are a Socialist Party, whether you are UPND, if you have a membership, provided you have a membership, those members should participate in the affairs of that political party.
Yeah.
So we raised the constitutional matter as expelled MPs that we did not participate in the election of Mao Sampa as president.
Yeah.
Neither did other members of the political party. There's a violation of Article 60. We raised that issue in the Constitutional Court, December last year.
Yeah.
So we've been seated, Angel, waiting for the Constitutional Court to rule on that violation. Now, what did the Constitutional Court rule over? Honorable Mao Sampa raised a preliminary issue. He says, no, this matter of expulsion is not supposed to be before this court. Meanwhile, for us, constitutional matters are dealt by the Constitutional Court. That is why we went to the Con Court. So the Con Court last week on Thursday delivered a ruling where they said, no, as a Con Court, we have no jurisdiction to hear this matter relating to expulsion. Okay? Now, what we raised was the issue of our rights under Article 62E, which talks about affairs of a political party and how members should participate.
So according to the Con Court, which court
they did not state. The Con Court did not give indication of which court.
Because I've listened to some of your critics that from the onset said we feel that the expelled members of parliament went to the wrong court.
Well, previously, before Article 60 was introduced in the Constitution of Zambia, there was no provision in the Constitution that dealt with political parties. So everyone would go to the High Court.
The High Court.
That is where everyone would go to. If you have a matter, you have a dispute internally within PF or within UMMD or whatever, you rush to the High Court. But before rushing to the High Court, we knew that there was a breach in the Republican Constitution, which is Article 60. Okay, so let me do fast forward.
Yeah.
So after we
So as things stand, the Con Court hasn't told you which court.
No, the Con Court did not specify.
They did not specify.
No, they did not specify. Now, after that ruling on Thursday last week, quickly we commenced a fresh court action. Okay? Because the Con Court said we have no jurisdiction. So we quickly commenced a court action where we stated, in short, it was a new petition, where we clarified the linkage between the constitutional provision, which is Article 60, and the provisions in the PF Constitution, because a PF is a club, it's a political party. It's a club that is recognized in the Constitution. All political parties, so long they are registered in Zambia, are recognized, and they have to follow what is guided in the Constitution. So we submitted a fresh court action, where now we explained the nexus, the linkage. Where is the linkage between a party affair and the Constitution of Zambia? So we have filed a petition. Now, this petition now needs to be determined. Angel, once you register a matter before court, no matter how unreasonable it is, whether it's reasonable or not, the court will have to say, oh, we have a court document. So I'm the chief petitioner, because if you have 10 petitioners, one of them has to sign the affidavits. So I signed the affidavits, and I think I'm competent enough to comment on this matter. So we arrive at the Con Court. The Con Court says...
When was this?
On Thursday, the same day they delivered ruling, we went back the same day, on Thursday. So the Con Court said, we are in receipt. We've received your fresh petition.
Yes.
Okay? And after we received the fresh petition, that fresh petition was stamped to acknowledge that they've received. If someone walked into Radio Christian Voice, the only evidence that they brought a document there is probably your stamp. So Con Court stamped our documents, meaning immediately the court case was given a number. So our court case is 2024 CCZ/009.
That's the case.
That's the case number. That's the case number. So when the matter comes before the court, they will read this number. 2024.
That's the High Court?
This is the Concourt.
Concourt, yeah.
CC, Constitutional Court of Zambia, 00, case number 9 on that day. So now, Angel, I've taken long to explain this because I want those that are tuned in to be aware that there's a court action. As I sit here, there's a matter before court. So the document was stamped.
Yeah.
Immediately, we received a stamped document from the Concourt. We started off with our lawyers to the National Assembly. And when we arrived at the National Assembly was served
The copy.
a copy of that document showing that this matter is before court. What did National Assembly do? They stamped their copy. They said, we have received this document. They acknowledged. Now, based on that acknowledgement, it means that National Assembly became aware that, oh no, this matter is actually back in court. Okay? Now, that was Thursday. Friday, the following day, Honorable Mao Sampa, okay, decided to write a letter to National Assembly.
The amnesty.
Yes. He wrote a letter to National Assembly indicating that the initial expulsion has been reversed.
For 7 members. Is it 7?
7, yes.
Yes, 7
Okay.
out of 9.
But
yeah.
later on, even the other 2, the letter was done. So there are 2 letters before National Assembly. The 7, the one relating to the 7 of us, and the one relating to the 2 other MPs. So by the time the Speaker was delivering ruling that we are expelled, that the seats are vacant, he already had 2 letters. One for 7 names, and the other one for 2 names. So I'm basically illustrating here that before National Assembly, where we were elected members of Parliament, there are 2 documents: a court action, which stops any action from taking place, as well as a letter from Honorable Mao Sampa.
Yeah.
Fast forward, the Speaker on Wednesday, 2 days ago, delivered a ruling. Now, what is a ruling? So a ruling simply means one of us will rise and say, Mr. Speaker, is Honorable Kang'ombe in order either to say something or to be seated in Parliament? So Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa, MP for Choma, rose on a point of order, asking if the 9 of us were in order to remain in Parliament when the Concourt had delivered ruling that according to him,
yeah.
When the Concourt had delivered ruling that we are expelled, according to Honorable Mwetwa, according to him, because the Concourt did not talk about expulsion. Okay? So the Speaker reserved ruling. Fast forward, Wednesday, the Speaker disregarding the requirement for an item to be on the order paper. And I want to repeat, the Deputy Speaker disregarding the requirement. It's a requirement under Standing Order 57, because Parliament makes its own rules. So we have a standing rule that any matter that will be discussed in Parliament has to be on the order paper. So the Speaker decides, Deputy Speaker reads out a ruling. Now, when he read out the ruling, he again ignores two principles. Principle number 1, that the matter that he was discussing was before a competent court. Number 1. Number 2, he disregards the letter from Honorable Mao Sampa, because in our court action, we are challenging Honorable Mao Sampa. So this is an affair between 9 PF MPs and Mao Sampa, and the letter that was received by National Assembly.
Maybe if you can correct me if I'm wrong. In his ruling, the Speaker talked about how that the National Assembly transacts with the Secretary General of the political party, and that letter was signed instead by the party president, Mao Sampa. Yeah,
so the Deputy Speaker in his ruling, I don't want to use the word lied, referred to what he called tradition or practice.
Yeah.
There's no written practice, there's no written tradition. Morgan Ingona, who is purported to be Secretary General of our party, was introduced to National Assembly by Mao Sampa. So Mao Sampa, who today they are saying cannot write a letter to National Assembly, wrote a letter last year after that illegal conference to National Assembly that my SG is Morgan. Okay? So already National Assembly has been relying on letters from Mao's all this time. All this time it's Mao's who's been saying, this is now my new SG, deal with him. So Mao's today says, no. I've written to you that we have resolved our matter as follows. The 9 are no longer expelled.
Okay, I actually do have quite a number of questions coming from your explanation.
Yeah.
But between the day that you were expelled, you and 8 others, did you at any point have a conversation with Honorable Mao Sampa to say, look, let's iron out these issues? Did you at any time
there have been a lot of efforts made to resolve these matters internally, quite a number of engagements. Progress sometimes it's slow, but definitely there have been efforts to engage by various stakeholders within the party.
So what led to the amnesty, that the letter that he sent to the National Assembly? Was it after fruitful discussions that you had with him?
Well, that was his decision. There was no gun pointed to his head that can you do this. I think he would be better placed to come and explain the final decision to take that route. But the process of consultations, engagement had been ongoing.
Yeah. Maybe just to take you back to where everything started from last year, the 24th of October.
Yeah.
And before that, I remember inviting some of the colleagues from the Patriotic Front actually after that.
Yes.
And there's something that seemingly comes out from your critics to say this is the undoing of the Patriotic Front.
Okay.
Had they had that general conference, that post-mortem general conference earlier, they wouldn't have been in this particular situation. Okay, fine. If that's not possible, if the PF continue to claim that the UPND are having some sort of hands or external forces, then it really shows how divided you are as a political party. Do you at times look back at the situation and regret as a political party that you should have maybe moved faster and all this wasn't going to happen?
Well, first of all, this conversation we are having is still a subject of a court process. There are court actions. What we are discussing, or what I've just referred to, is the issue of the declaration of the seats vacant by Deputy Speaker, and I've highlighted 2 illegalities. The issue pertaining to the absence of that item on the order paper, which renders that decision now and void. Because you can't just wake up today as a speaker and say, Honorable Kang'ombe, I forgot to inform the nation that today I would declare the seats vacant, yet the matter was not on the order paper. Those are things I'm able to discuss openly here because we are about to take court action. The matters that are already before court relate to what you've mentioned, the issue pertaining to the general conference conducted by Mao Sampa and his colleagues on the 24th of October. The only point I can raise today, of course you've asked me whether we regret not having the conference or not, is that, look, every political party has processes. Could those processes have moved faster? Could they have moved faster? Yes, they could have moved faster. Obviously, this whole challenge of whether who is party president, the dispute, sometimes you can move so fast and achieve what you want. If there's an element of influence from outside, if state organs are participating, and I want to be very categorical, because what people should be aware, and those that are tuned in, is that when state organs participate in a scheme, the hand of the state organs will be seen. So, for instance, the Office of the Registrar of Societies. There's a lady who was in that office acting as Chief Registrar of Societies. She issued through a court order, okay? The court ruled that, can you make public the office bearers of the Patriotic Front? So the names were published, office bearers. Morgan Ng'ona was not there, Miles Sampa was not there, Robert Chavinga was not there. All those individuals were not appearing. Instructions were given to change those office bearers, okay? Without asking, because you ask those that were previously on the list to say, we've received notification that we should remove you. Okay, there must be a supporting document. And that is why I'm saying, as much as we should have moved faster, when state organs are determined, Angel, they are determined to venture into a certain avenue, change documents, disregard court processes. I can rest assure you that no matter the pace, they would have still achieved what they want.
This is something that this is something that you're very confident that the state has had their hand in all this.
Yes, the state
since day one.
The state organs participated in this in the general conference that took place.
What's your relationship with Honorable Miles Sampa? How would you describe your relationship?
At a personal level or political?
At a personal level.
So Miles was mayor for Lusaka. I was mayor for Kitwe. The time he was member of parliament, prior in his initial stages, I was a council under PF in Kitwe. We've been, for lack of a better term, workmates. We've been workmates. We've had opportunities to work together. At a personal level, I have nothing against him as a person.
But your colleagues, you do talk to each other.
We talk to each other. But except, you see, the challenge with our work is that even where I am today, I've always advised colleagues, we detach our emotions from these matters because these positions are not ours to keep. I'm a member of parliament today. Tomorrow there's another member of parliament. That is why I can come here and afford a smile despite being an expelled member of parliament, despite having my seat declared vacant by a deputy speaker, because this is not, I was never born a member of parliament. Miles Sampa was never born a member of parliament. So the moment we attach emotions to these activities, our judgment gets affected. And that is why, for me, my conversations today are based on specific principles. But like you've asked, am I able to shake a hand with Miles? Yes, I would.
Yeah, but the question is, why haven't you put him aside and said, look, let's resolve this man to man? What's the issue?
Well, maybe because I don't know. It's him who was not able to adjust his decisions quicker.
So you actually tried to reach out.
There were efforts that were made.
Yeah,
there were efforts that were made.
And the Mr. Morgan Ng'ona, how is your relationship with him?
Well, the last time I met Morgan, I think he was. I met him at Miles Sampa's office when Morgan was when Miles was mayor for Lusaka. Yeah. We had a meeting for the local government association of Zambia. So I passed through the mayor's office. So Morgan used to be found a lot at Miles's office. That's the last time I met him. I've never met him recently.
Ever since this whole thing started, you've never had a conversation with him?
I've never had a conversation
with him. Now, perhaps maybe the topic of discussion.
Yes.
So now, we do have the young people that are listening to you from Kamfinsa.
Exactly.
The lay people, they don't really understand. And probably the question they're asking, Honorable, is there anything that could be done to reverse a decision or the ruling that the National Assembly did in as far as declaring your seat vacant? Is there anything apart from the courts that can be done to have that decision overturned? Because I've been hearing, conversations of that how you and your colleagues ought to sit down with the Party Secretary General, Mr. Morgan Ng'ona, to have that sort of reversed. At this particular moment, what has to be done?
Well, first
if
of all,
at all there's anything that can be done apart from the courts.
Yeah, so apart to fikiri where we've reached, a decision has been made, a ruling has been delivered by a deputy speaker. Now, a deputy speaker is the one who sat in the chairmanship. On that day, that was the chairperson of National Assembly. So the chairperson is the only one who can deliver rulings, okay? Erroneously, they've delivered a ruling on our issue, okay? there's precedence. You remember, Honorable, right?
Okay, Honorable, the time is, we're almost hitting 10.
Okay.
We have the news at 10.
Okay.
Just after at 10, we'll continue our conversation.
Perfect. Yeah.
So we do have the news coming your way at 10, and then just after that, join us even as we continue the conversation. Good morning.
Chatback on RCV News.
This morning, we have Honorable Christopher Kang'ombe, who is a Member of Parliament for Kamfinsa and also PF National Youth Chairperson. And our topic of discussion is Zambia going to have 9 parliamentary by-elections? A reminder of this particular conversation that you can follow us live on Facebook. You go to your Facebook and search for RCV News. RCV News is a platform where we do post everything current affairs. So come through and let's get interactive.
Have we answered the question? Whether Zambia will have by-elections?
No, we're actually going to answer it, Honorable. We're going to answer it.
Yeah.
And then the number is 0956 2000490. But I mean, listening to the news yesterday, ECZ is well aware. So we may as well start to prepare. But anyway,
I can make a comment.
Yeah, I'll get to your comment.
Yeah.
So that's the number that you can use to get in touch with the studio. But before we get to that question, I like how you started to explain very well with regards to where we have reached. A youth in Kamfinsa constituency is asking, Apanomba Honorable, what's going to happen at this particular moment? Is there any decision apart from the courts of law that can trigger a reversal of this particular decision?
Well, it's one thing to answer that question, but it's also important to remind the viewers, the listeners, that we decided as a country a long time ago that we will respect rules, we'll respect regulations, we'll respect laws of our country. Okay? The moment people lose confidence in the court processes, where I'm seated today, I have confidence that the court will do the right thing. Okay? Now, the rules of justice demand that you hear both parties. What we've not been accorded is an opportunity to present our case. Okay? In all these matters relating to the Patriotic Front, the moment a platform is accorded to those who have different views, the justice system will then provide justice. If they will just receive one document from one side and decide, then the court process will not be respected. The question you've asked is there any other avenue? At this stage, because we respect the courts of law, it's only the courts of law that can hear our new argument, because now we have a court action that we are going to take relating to the action by the Deputy Speaker. Because you see, the Deputy Speaker, by history of our country, the last couple of years after the Constitution was changed, previously, the Speaker could declare a seat vacant. Okay? Today, under the laws of Zambia, if you go to the judgment of the Constitutional Court, because the Constitutional Court has ruled over all these matters before, Chishimba Kamwili versus Attorney General, the Right Honorable Justice Mativini, when he was Speaker of the National Assembly, declared Ron constituency vacant. Okay? So Honorable Kamwili took the matter to court. Okay, judicial review, sued the Attorney General. The matter went to court. There is a ruling in the Concourt where the ruling says National Assembly cannot declare a seat vacant. It's the court. So the court, it's only the court that can declare a seat. It's only the court that should be able to indicate that Kamfinsa constituency now is vacant. It's not Parliament. So as I sat there on Wednesday, listening to Deputy Speaker Moyo reading out that judgment, or is it a ruling, I'm asking myself, has the law changed? I'm asking myself, as a lawmaker, has there been an amendment to the law? I sit in Parliament the last 3 years. We've never changed any law because the judgment of the Concourt becomes law. So the Concourt ruled that in the case of Chishimba Kamwili versus Attorney General, the Speaker should not have declared Ron constituency vacant. It's only the court to say, now the constituency is vacant. Now Honorable Christopher Kang'ombe has been expelled. Now we can proceed. I hope I hope that is guidance I'm trying to give in terms of information. Now, given that guidance, to answer your question, since the court can only be the ones to rule, we expect that as we challenge that decision by Deputy Speaker Moyo, which we are doing, we will challenge, because for me, I still respect the court. Because the moment we stop respecting the court, Angel, and this is very important for our listeners, I may be aggrieved. I may not be happy with what is happening, the slow pace at which justice is being dispensed. But the question is, if we lose confidence in the court process, Angel, people will start taking the law into their own hands. And for me as a leader, for me as a parliamentarian, I don't want to be part of the process where we stop regarding the court process. We simply take the law into our own hands.
Yeah, actually, the worry is,
Yes.
the question is,
Any other avenue?
yes.
There's no other avenue.
Because you know why youths are asking
Yes.
that question
Yeah.
is they have seen probably history. They're just looking at your case of the 24th general conference that happened, and they feel, you know, that this issue has been dragging and it's kind of slow. So they are thinking this may as well happen to your case. We don't know how long these court processes are going to take.
I want to speak to the conscience.
So that's why, is there any other avenue? But like you said,
well, I don't see.
It's only the court.
I'll summarize, because I know you have to bring in callers.
Yeah.
Kubale kutika, especially the young people, the women, the residents of Kamfinsa constituency. For me, I respect the court processes. Twalichindika ukwa abamafunde. I respect the regulations that are provided, but I want to speak to the conscience of the judiciary, because the judiciary is not an electronic system. They are human beings that are there. They have a conscience. The conscience they should have and exhibit is that of allowing justice to prevail. How does justice prevail, Angel? Kusuminishemba lishonse shibiri. Abalelanda tawe, baspika mwalirufyanya, mwabonfa, you hear their case. Those that are saying, no, the speaker was right, you people should be expelled, should also be heard. That is justice. So I'm confident that our court action, because we are taking court action against the deputy speaker, because the deputy speaker ignored the substantive regulations. The deputy speaker ignored that there's already a ruling that when a matter relating to expulsion is before a court, you can't make a ruling. What he did on Wednesday was to disregard the law, and we are taking court action. So to those that are tuned in, residents of Kamfinsa, we have a court process to finish. After we finish that court process, the public will be made aware. As things stand, we are taking a court action.
The only question is, how long are these court processes going to take? Because regardless of the situation, the people of Kamfinsa do deserve a voice to be heard.
They need a representative.
They need a representative. And that's the worry, because ever since this happened, Honorable, you're able to tell from the views of Zambians that they're not even excited. They're not even excited to have a by-election.
9 by-elections.
They're actually not in that particular mood.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that's happening. We do have an energy crisis. We did have a drought. So for them, all they want is to be served. But if I see fide bomba, they want certain things to be working. So yes, you are going to take that route.
But for how long?
But for how long is the question. Okay, let's make progress. You've made your feelings well known about this particular issue. So, if a situation, you find yourself in a situation where the courts say, actually, yes, you were expelled by the PF Secretary General, and indeed your seat is vacant, and we have to go to the by-elections. Are you going to stand again?
Well, first of all, that's a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
Hypothetical in the context that such an outcome is not yet there. Okay?
But what if it's there?
Well, it's not yet there.
Because these are possibilities, Honorable.
Well, I doubt there will be a by-election. I'm confident that the courts will do the correct thing. I'm confident that the courts will pronounce itself, because the court hasn't pronounced itself on the vacancy in Kamfinsa constituency. There is no court document. Go to the Con Court. Go,
So
go to the High
so
Court.
you're very certain that we're not even going to go that route.
We are not having by-elections.
And this takes us back to the question of the other 8 seats.
There are no by-elections taking place. I'm quite confident because there's no pronouncement by the court. What was pronounced was a ruling by the deputy speaker, who is a member of parliament in Lwangeni, Moyo. He knows very well that it's only the court that can actually pronounce that now this seat is vacant. That pronouncement has not been made by the court. And that is why we are taking court action against Deputy Speaker Moyo. So this court process will continue. I hope that we'll be granted a stay so that we continue to Parliament to continue speaking for the people of Kamfinsa, the people of Pambashe, and all the other 7 constituencies.
So you're very confident we're not having by-elections?
I'm very confident.
And you don't want me to ask the question of so.
There's already a decision in the event that we reach that stage. But you see, we don't want to influence a court process that is ongoing. There's a court process that is ongoing. We have documents before the Constitutional Court. We are going to have more documents before court just to allow the people of our 9 constituencies to have representation without a by-election. We don't need a by-election. And that is why, for me, I started by stating that Zambia is a constitutional democracy. Chief Justice is head of the judiciary. I want to speak to the conscience of the Chief Justice. I want to speak to the conscience of the Constitutional Court. I want to speak to the judges that sit in the Constitutional Court. 9 by-elections over a decision that has not subscribed to the procedure. Expulsions do take place. You can expel a member of parliament. It's possible. The law provides for an expulsion. A vacancy can be created, but procedure has to be followed. A deputy speaker can't wake up on Wednesday. Discussions are deliberated in parliament. Then they have an afterthought at 16 hours that, oh, we forgot to expel the 9 MPs. Quickly, a judgment is taken to the deputy speaker. He's reading, and you can tell he's struggling to read what is given to him. Definitely, a court process has to challenge that decision.
I know you're very confident of
I'm
how
very
that
confident.
we're not going to have by-elections, but your
Unless our courts decide.
your honorable colleague has come up with a very interesting statement, Honorable Bino Mpondo, who says, "I'm ready to give up my seat if we can agree on issues pertaining Petauke Central Member of Parliament." And he says, "Look, I'm ready to join the other." Is it 9?
9, yes.
9, so that you make it 10 and 11 for Honorable J Banda.
Yeah.
So with him, the cards are there. It can happen and it cannot happen.
Well, Vinmo is not an expelled MP.
Yeah.
He has no court matter in court. He is at liberty to give his views. I was driving with him from Kitu. Actually, we went to the constituencies together. We drove back together. We were discussing all these possible outcomes. I was actually not surprised that Deputy Speaker ignored the regulations because we saw this coming. And that is why we were ready to take whatever court action has to be taken. So I'll leave Honorable Mpondo to run comments.
All right.
He's at liberty to.
Seeing the fact that you are the PF National Youth Chairperson,
Yes.
let me quickly ask you a few questions on the patriotic front. Seeing in the route that you as a political party are taking, we're now hearing that Honorable Mao Sampa has been suspended as the president, and there's so much confusion within the party. Do you think the PF will come out of this particular very difficult situations? Are you confident that order is going to be restored in the patriotic front?
Well, I can't predict what will happen eventually to the patriotic front with all these challenges, the factors that are at play, the involvement of state organs. If it was a political party that has been allowed to resolve its problems, we are able to talk to each other the way we have been talking to each other.
Who's stopping you from doing that?
Well, there's external influence. So you agree, let's resolve in this matter. Colleagues, we need to have a round table discussion. what issues affect Honorable Mao Sampa, what issues affect 60th Republican President Edgar Lungu, what issues affect these 3, 4, 5 stakeholders. Can we sit and resolve? That is the avenue we've been hoping could have been pursued. But when the state is involved, when the state is the one changing details at the registrar of societies, when they know that banks are being instructed, there are commercial banks that are being instructed not to attend to these individuals because they are no longer signatories to the party account. We have workers at the secretariat who can't get paid because we can't access our money, because commercial banks are being told don't attend to this signatory. It shows you the level of state involvement. So you asked me a question. Do I see these matters being resolved? I'm hoping they could be resolved. But if they are not resolved, definitely there will be an opportunity for us to still represent our people. Because you see, some of us
and if the issues are not, if the issues are not resolved, would you consider resigning, as a PF National Youth Chairperson?
Angel, why are you asking hypothetical questions?
No, I'm asking you these questions because so much has been said out there, and it's more of like I don't want to really fall in that trap, but they're saying, look, I'm sure you've heard of.
I'm also looking for
history. So PF number.
So a PF tabakawele munomo.
That's not me saying that.
No, there's a likelihood. There's a likelihood that we may not resolve our problems, but there's also a likelihood that we may resolve. But either way, I think that public service is about picking out issues and addressing them. I would have loved to come here, and I hope you invite me, Angel, to come and discuss other key issues, issues that I have proposals to make, issues that I was actually planning. I have 3 or 4 amendments to our laws that I've proposed to Parliament. Because I'm out, I hope those issues will not be shelved. So I will still find a way to represent.
Yeah, one more question. Yes. On you've highly talked about how that state organs are participating in whatever is happening in the Patriotic Front. We've seen government, even State House yesterday said, look, the president has got nothing to do with whatever is happening in the Patriotic Front. And they said, look, if you are saying that we are involved, where is the proof? Where is the proof that we are meddling into your affairs? Where is the proof? So that's the question that the UPND are saying. Say, okay, fine. You're saying that we're meddling. Where is the proof? Into your affairs.
Well, so let me give an example. And I've stated, I hope everyone is not emotional about this issue. Let's all just sober up and let's point to specific examples. So Honorable Mao Sampa writes to Mlungushi University through Morgan Ngona that we are going to have a retreat at Mlungushi. We want to have lunch with party members, and later on the retreat is moved to Mlungushi conference here in Lusaka. You have over 250 police officers. Where in the history of Zambia? Where in the history of Zambia? I'm 39 years old this year, turning 40. I've never seen state police. I'm not talking about private police, because you can hire a private company, pay them, and then they'll come and police your event. Even here at Radio Christian Voice, if you want a private police, private security firm to manage this facility, you can pay and they'll be here. But you can't get 250 police officers at Radio Christian Voice. We've had so many conferences. UPND have had conferences in the opposition. PF had conferences in the opposition. Socialist Party. We've never had police officers policing a state-organized... I'm calling it a state-organized because that conference at Mulungushi was state-organized, state-managed. That is one example. Example number 2, Angel, and I'll be very quick. How do you get registrar of societies to amend names of office bearers when you know very well that this matter is a subject of litigation? A matter is in court. One group is saying, no, Miles was not properly elected. But registrar of societies resist those changes. She's forced out of that office. You are aware, Angel. And that is why people should sober up. Let's just call a spade a spade. How do you allow office bearers to be changed without a procedure being satisfied. The matter was in court. One group was saying, PF has not yet held its conference. Why are you changing office bearers? Okay? Quickly, names of leader of opposition are changed. All these are state organs. The judiciary is a state organ. The legislature is a state organ. And that is why I'm saying all this confusion is being facilitated by state organs. The proof is there.
The proof is there.
Yes.
The Patriotic Front. I know you do have a personal opinion. Who do you think is the best individual in the Patriotic Front to lead the political party going forward? I know you have a personal, maybe preference.
Well, I yield influence. So my influence, if I was to state today, obviously it would mean I'm championing an agenda for this particular individual. So I'm unable to mention who I believe should be party president. But I believe a process has to take place. A conference has to take place because PF needs to elect a party president, a party presidential candidate. We did have a central committee where some of these issues were discussed. And I believe that at an appropriate time, we should be able to come back to the public and say, we've done our housekeeping, we've resolved our issues, and this is the direction in which we are moving. So I would not want to start saying, no, Honorable Kafwaya, or Honorable Munduvile, or Honorable Kampiongo, or is it myself as Christopher Kang'ombe, because I equally would want to be president at some point. But obviously, everything has got time. Everything has to be factored in under the circumstances. So under the circumstances, our primary goal is to resolve our issues. If these issues are not resolved, it doesn't mean that the people of Zambia don't have a voice, okay? Because, yes, parliament is an avenue where some of us can speak. But if I'm not member of parliament, does it mean I no longer continue speaking for the people of Zambia? That is why some of us are not attaching emotions to what our colleagues are doing in parliament. You could tell the deputy speaker was I don't know if it's under pressure or I don't know if someone directed him to read out that ruling, but you could see he lacked composure. The body language was basically showing that this person doesn't even understand what he's trying to read.
Yeah. Then also, your seat was declared vacant in the National Assembly.
Exactly.
So now the question is, does that also bar you from parliamentary work in your constituency?
Well, technically, legally,
Yeah.
I can't go into the constituency and identify myself as a member of parliament for Kamfinsa because there's a declaration in the National Assembly. I can't participate in committee work at National Assembly. I can't do any official work as member of parliament for Kamfinsa. But a court action, and that is why I started with the Constitution of Zambia. If the judiciary, headed by the Chief Justice, respects the Constitution of Zambia, if the panel of judges sitting on the Constitutional Court respect the very document that created them, because all of us are a creation of the Constitution, if they will ignore the provisions in the law, if they don't respect the Constitution, then they will be making decisions out of lack of consideration of what is in the law. But if they do respect the Constitution, they will give an opportunity to all of us to present our argument in court. Now, as we present our argument in court, what happened in Parliament should be halted. The declaration of vacancies for the 9 members of Parliament, and that is why ECZ should be very careful. I know ECZ who claim that they have an instruction, they have received communication.
They've received communication.
They've been told 9 seats are vacant, so proceed with the by-elections.
Get to work.
Yeah, they will not move if the courts allow us to present our case, because we have a case. That is justice. Justice is not whether you like Christopher Kang'ombe or not. Justice is not whether you like Morgan Ingona or not. Justice is not whether you like Honorable Brian Munduvile or not. Justice is allowing them to speak. Justice is not whether you don't like Edgar Lungu or not. Allow him to present his argument. So I hope the judiciary, because the judiciary is on trial. Is on trial. People are waiting to hear. So Honorable Kang'ombe is saying there's a matter active in court. So Honorable Kang'ombe is saying there's actually a court case that is active in the Court. Can we hear further details? Where are we going to get further details, Angel? It is in court. So I hope that despite all that has happened, there are parties that are aggrieved. There are people that are ready. Others are worried that if the courts don't provide justice, we may end up losing confidence in the court process. I'm telling everyone, hold. If the justice system fails us, who do we run to? And that is why we hope that justice will prevail. The court precedences we have will guide us. Parliament cannot declare a parliamentary seat vacant. The Speaker has no authority. There's already a judgment. Chishimba Kambwili versus Attorney General. We can't ignore that court ruling.
Okay. All right. The time is 10:33. Before we get to other issues that are affecting the citizenry, let's see if we can actually squeeze in quite a number of calls and contributions on the number 0956 200490 0956 200490. Please make your contributions pretty short. If you can give your contributions within 60 seconds, I think that will enable us have as many callers as we can. Good morning, you are through to the program.
Hello?
Good morning, you are through to the program.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, your name and where are you calling us from?
Wash Precious to Secretary.
Mkwa Wash Precious. Hello? Okay. Go ahead with the contribution.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead with the contribution.
Mkwabash Precious.
Zambia is Christian nation. Kang'ombe efunganiswaya ukakana kumisa. Ukakana kumisa alikuwa one part state. Parliament alikuwa la Amerika. Nileta Kang'ombe kwa watu wote democracy kama kumisa. Ile anaona shirika za Afrika kwa Zambia atika kumisa na mapandishe. Kang'ombe ni serikali ya Zambia. Ni serikali ya Zambia. That's why Zambia.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. I hope you were able to hear.
No, I was able to
hear
talking about
bits and parts.
Transforming Zambia into a one-party state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 0956 200490 0956 200490. Good morning, you are through to the program.
Good morning, sir. This is the Pastor Mwape Simon from Kamfinsa constituency.
From Kamfinsa constituency?
Yes.
Go ahead with the contribution, Pastor.
Honorable, good morning.
Good morning, Pastor. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, yes, Honorable, first thing I want to say is that we are behind you.
Thank you.
We have seen how you have been working in our constituency. You engage the community well. Yes. I don't know why our parliament is like this. And sometimes I think like they don't even know that we watch parliament as the citizens of this country, because the decisions that happening in parliament, it leaves much to be desired. My suggestion is to maybe these other MPs who have remained, I think they should also just say we are resigning, so that we just have another general election, because things are not okay. It's not okay, and we are disturbed. We don't want to go to another by-election or to the by-election now. We are waiting for 2026. God is with you, sir. We are praying for you, and it is well.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, Pastor.
Pastor. Great to know that Kamfinsa is listening. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Good morning. Thank you. This is James Mwanga.
James Mwanga, where are you calling us from?
From Solwezi in Northwestern Province.
Yes, go ahead with the contribution.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, James. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got just one question for the Honorable.
Okay.
I wanted to find out whether he can tell the nation whether the UPND has got a hand in, well, I don't want to say the expulsion, but maybe let me loosely use that word, in the expulsion from Parliament. And if that is the case, suppose the UPND sued the 9 to say, can you prove that we have a hand? Can the 9 prove it in court that indeed the UPND has got a hand in their expulsion? I'm asking this because there's a narrative that has been going on, especially on our social media platforms, where we have seen people suggesting that probably the state, meaning the UPND government, has got a hand in their expulsion. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, James. Great to know that Solwezi is tuned in. Let's squeeze in one more call so that we give you a chance to respond to those 0956 200 0956 200 this one says, good morning, our angel and our honorable MP. After listening from your explanation, honorable, it sounds like there is a deliberate breach of the constitution by the speaker. Secondly, was the speaker in order to make a ruling on a matter which was before court? Lastly, is it automatic that we'll go for by-elections? And I would like to hear from the president, who said, and I quote, "I hate by-elections," unquote. Apa, I think there is a bigger hand in all this. Raymond Chilufia in Kitwe. Thank you so much, Raymond, for your text message. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very well. Kindly speak up your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, I'm Imakando calling from Livingstone.
Mr. Imakando from Livingstone.
Yes, how are you today?
Very well. Go ahead with the contribution, sir.
Yes, I want to ask the question to the Honorable there.
Yes, by Makando.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. I want to ask this question to you because I feel like this whole problem is coming from PF itself. Because I'm looking at like in PF there is no hungry, jealous within yourselves. So why can't you settle it within yourselves than pointing fingers to others? That maybe they don't have a hand. They might have a hand or not have a hand. Just sit down. I would want to suggest you sit down within yourselves. Where is this problem coming from? Because in every home, neighbors talk. They talk, yes, it's normal. We are human beings. But before you say, but what is consenting? Where is this problem in our home coming from? I remember very well we are the people who supported PF in the late ruling of the president, Michael Sata. May his soul rest in peace. That man was a man of action, as he said. That is the man that was making PF. Immediately after he died, the confusion started coming. And some of us who voted for this party, we feel bad. Because it's the party that people hated us for it. And now look at what is happening. Here I feel like it's just you within yourselves. This one wants to be a president, this one wants... You cannot be a president at once. Kindly choose one person within yourself. Settle it, then you see PF bouncing back. As much as you are not settling the issue in yourself, you'll be pointing fingers to the UPND. And me, I would disagree with you because the UPND has got a lot of issues to handle. They need to see peace in this country. They need to see food with this drought they have. So I'm not thinking they can have a hand to start confusing PF. Because if they want PF at first, PF is not a threat now. Because you are dividing yourself. So to them, they are very comfortable when you are fighting. So if you want to bounce back in power, which can be possible, handle yourselves. That is my personal advice.
All right.
Look at where the confusion is coming from. Choose one leader, and the PF can bounce back.
All right.
Please do that for us.
Thank you so much.
Don't think that you are alone. There are people supporting you, but if immediately you start fighting, people run away from you. Including even your own wife runs away from you. This is why you find the people voted at Ivanapezama vote attack. Now, if you have got 5 children, a wife and yourself, that means one of your children or your wife didn't vote for you because of the confusion that you are causing yourself.
Okay.
So let's not point fingers for the others.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Imakando, and great to know that.
The honorable listen. I want you to listen so that when he goes back, you sit down and discuss.
All right. Thank you so much. Great to know that Livingstone is tuned in. Honorable.
Yes, it's very nice. Yes, it's nice.
Okay. I think let me give you a chance to respond
I'll
to
start
those
with
ones.
the two are related.
Yeah.
James Mwanga from Solwezi and Wo Imakando. Wo Imakando from Livingstone.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I have a principle, not just in leadership, but in all that I do. I take responsibility. I believe that when issues are happening, I should take responsibility, identify my role, and try and resolve problems where my role ends. But you see, as we take responsibility as a former ruling party, the Patriotic Front, it's also important to recognize the elements, because every issue has elements. So you recognize what are the external elements to this problem. So if 2 groupings or 3 have a dispute, this is where the court should bring the 3 in one room. This is where the judiciary now should be magnanimous, because officers of the court are not supposed to be members of any political party. They'll have political preferences when time comes to vote, but they should not be active members of a political party. That is why the issue pertaining to the Patriotic Front is before courts. Now, these courts should not be seen to be fast-tracking outcomes for one group. So if one group decides today to seek an injunction, they work overnight. They'll stop at doing anything because this group needs an injunction. They'll quickly get an injunction by morning. The other group is saying, we want these reliefs because we go to court for reliefs. We go to court, Angel, because you and I can't agree as human beings. So we decide, let a third person provide arbitration. Let them bring them together. We resolve this problem. So, Wo Imakando, we have taken responsibility as a party. Internally, we've been talking to each other to resolve our problems. But I want you to note that when state organs are seen to be siding to be aligning their decisions towards one grouping, Wo Imakando, you are left with no option. You are left with no option to say, but why can't the state organs provide a platform where we are allowed to resolve our issues? We go to court. If Honorable Kang'ombe has been expelled from PF and he wants an injunction, let the injunction be granted and then let the matter start in court.
Yeah.
If Deputy Speaker Moyo has declared my seat vacant, am I not entitled to a relief in court? Can't that decision be reviewed? Yes, it can be reviewed if I'm given an opportunity to enter court. So here I'm seated today. I'm going to take court action, and the other 7 are going to take court action against the Deputy Speaker. If you want to know if state organs are involved or not, let's wait for the outcome of that court action. I'm confident that there's a conscience at the judiciary. I'm confident that a relief will be granted. I'm confident that I'll be back in Parliament to represent the people of Kamfinsa without a by-election, because a by-election is unnecessary. All that the court needs to do is to simply say, Honorable Kang'ombe, Member of Parliament for Kamfinsa, you have sued, you are seeking reliefs in court. Before we grant you those reliefs, can we first hear your case? So let's hear what you have to say. But you can't say, let's hear what you have to say, but meanwhile you are no longer MP. No. The court process should allow me to continue representing the people of Kamfinsa. That is why there's a stay. That is why there's an injunction. That is why they allow court processes to hear both sides. We'll hear. Attorney General will come to court. I will present my arguments, and then later on we'll be able to say, no. Bwana Deputy Speaker, Standing Order 57 yala ndati, you cannot declare a ruling over a matter which is not on the agenda. Order paper ni agenda. It's a green document. Wala tupela green paper balanda lelo Kang'ombe issue yenu ya kumitamfya mu parliament yala bapa agenda. Pakutila waipekanya lelo bale ntamfi. noti lyawaingira mu parliament 16 hours lo ba speaker basayibukisha ati anatulabo okutamfya bakang'ombe mu parliament isentu batamfya 2 hours later they realize we've not followed procedure. Article 57 of the standing orders, Angel, and this is for the benefit of Woima Kando and my dear brother James Mwanga. How do you explain a deputy speaker, because parliament is a state organ. This is H. Sungunde, state organ. It's part of governance. How do you explain total disregard for the law? The law says you can only rule on a matter if it's on the order paper. Our declaration of seats vacant was not on the order paper. Tapali pa agenda. Tabatamfya omuntu mulemutamfya, teshibyati mulemutamfya. Na ku disciplinary hearing bala Twitter batwe but mailo bakang'ombe mukese ilondolola. So if you ask me, is UPND involved? I'm not discussing UPND. UPND is a political party. I'm discussing state organs, and I can prove that state organs are involved because they are participating actively in this whole process. Takwabo kutamfya ba MP9 without hearing their case. Our case has not been heard, and I believe that state organs are actively involved in this whole process. Very quickly, Angel, there was another call, another text from Raymond.
Yeah.
Is the matter in court? Why did the speaker rule over a matter which is in court? I did mention earlier on that case number 2024/66/CC7/009 is an active matter in court. We have filed a fresh petition. We filed it the same day the initial petition was thrown out. When we submitted our fresh petition, a new court process began. Ngamwambo mulandu mu court ba parliament tete bapingule. And this guidance or principle is provided for under the case of Chishimba Kambwili versus Attorney General.
Okay. All right, let's get the last round of calls on the number 0956-200-490, 0956-200-490. Let's get the last three calls. Good morning, you are through to the program. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from?
This is IC from Masterways.
Yes, I see. Go ahead with the contribution.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we are, I see.
Hello?
Yes, we're able to get you.
Yeah, I'm saying this is IC from Masterways.
Yes, go ahead with the contribution quickly.
Thank you so much. First of all, I have to challenge the Mr. Kang'ombe. The problem I think I have seen in your party that despite that maybe there might be people who are supporting those who are bringing confusion in PF. To be honest with you, PF people, they are not actually coordinated. I use that particular term. They are not coordinated. So what is supposed to be done is resolve the matters or the issues that are actually affecting the people who are in the party. It's like these people want to be leaders, this person wants to be a leader. So it cannot happen at the same time. Everyone wants to be a leader. So with that, I think that's why you are seeing even the ruling party. For them, they can't come and tell you, Wakang'ombe in a party and stop what you are doing. No, because they are your competitors. So they are, for seeing you doing what you are doing, for them they are okay. And they are rejoicing. So you should resolve your in-house matters and everything shall be well. It's not good for what has happened. 9 parliamentary by-elections. Where are we going to get money? Money that is supposed to be used, Kumalaiti. And we are suffering here. There is no power. With 24 hours, they are having no power. And 200 million you go for by-election. This is unfair. You should sit down and resolve the matter that is in your hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ice, for your contribution. 0956-200-490. Joe from Kitwe says, my brothers, Angel and Honorable Kang'ombe, good morning. Mr. Kang'ombe, your style of politics inspires me. Certainly, you do not attach emotions, and that's the way to go. God will never slumber over Zambia. Thank you so much, Joe from Kitwe. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Good morning. This is Dalison, calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, go ahead with the contribution.
Yes. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning, Vadaliso.
Good morning, yes. What I've seen with the PF, I think the best that has happened to the PF is the old guys should take a back seat and let the new breed of PF take the front row. I think the interference with the old players has actually landed us where we are right now because they want to be actively involved. Then also for the UPND, they should never underestimate the PF because the PF still has got the people on the ground and people are in support of the PF because PF what PF did is actually visible and times were better in the PF than now. Things are hard. So the by-elections, what happened to Bowman and Malanji should not happen to the 9 because the country is really grappling with a lot of challenges. So if that can be reconsidered and everything should be resolved, and possibly the leadership of Mao Sampa and the likes of you, ask the youth who support you.
All right, thank you so much, Daliso. All right, let's get the last caller. Good morning, you are through to the program.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Angel. This is Ob Tapiri dialing the studio line from Chipangali district of Eastern Provinces of Zambia.
All right, Mr. Perry, go ahead with the contribution.
Thank you, and good morning, Honorable Kang'ombe there.
Good morning, Vapiri.
Thank you so very much. I've followed the program, and I love the way the Honorable Member is articulating. We are being enlightened. This is wonderful. I think this time I would say the state institutions have gone offside.
Oh, we lost him.
Mm-hmm. State institutions have gone offside.
Since we lost him and we've already picked up another caller,
Okay.
Go ahead with the contribution. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Maurice Miller. I'm calling you from Kitwe.
Yes.
Kamfinsa constituency.
Yeah. Oh, from Kamfinsa. 60 seconds, please. Go ahead with the contribution.
Yes, Mr. Kang'ombe, how are you?
Very fine, Bamwila.
Wino mheba karamu. Mwachuleni.
Tulepema tukesalomba kweyabunga.
How serious?
Fact bena mubanga beikala ensala kunganda.
Ero ensala lipona kare futi barero ndapona ini. I'll follow you and I'm behind you.
MK.
Amaconfusions yonsale chitika bonsa babalera ndande bomfa yonsa amaconfusion hayo nsapa tufikire so it came from UPND. UPND ilo batire program bapangire yakwa mausampa ne bapu UPND bapangire because UPND ngate bapangire ngata bavoteshe mausampa nabantu bakwe ba 24 October last year. That day is holiday. And my question is, napata pe imo papa bana ngubamo bona tumira amafoni bonse ba UPND tabasu kana pata pe question ni mwatu wasa ine alama paper la pantu ile yali ni off day wasa ine alama paper la timau sampani president ni nani afu bine kuisa then ila nani kane bakwete ba mau sampa balita kwata security ya manu wino ya makatana yafu bine kuisa ngatakuti ba UPND te bakoza ba hii problem. Bakoza bali problem ba Kang'ombe na mubeshiba nomba ilata chiranda bashi pressure wala bapamo no mabere nga Bible mu Exodus ilando ko bati there is a time ya Israelites baisalile mfumu yabo then ile tari bafuma ma Israelites ne mfumu yambo kubashupa. So iyo bashire cyari realize uko batikirengere n'imfumu yo twayisalira temfumu leta salire bari bwerere futi kuri leta so kwema Zambia twalaboerera kunuma ishire kirengere nangu kirengere kutulecura. So
all right, thank you so much. We'll have to let you go because we've run out of time. Thank you so much. We'll have to let you go, Honorable. We only have 2 minutes. So
yeah, I'll
you
be
have to respond to.
I'll be very quick
to these concerns.
I think just to clarify for James, because he had asked, do I have evidence of the participation of UPND? I wasn't discussing UPND as a political party. I was discussing state organs. There's a general term, PF government, UPND government. I don't subscribe to that. I believe there's just a government. And that is why I was very categorical to state the participation of state organs is visible. Iminwe shaba shabuteko shilelanga mufile chitika mumafia tukwete at the moment. Very quickly, Joe was just a comment about my way of doing politics. I believe that Zambia can achieve a lot if we all focus on the work. I'm quite confident that my colleagues in the UPND have lost focus in terms of focusing on the problems. Because when you are seated and you have 15 issues to address, if you focus on those 15 issues that affect the people, there are chances of you resolving at least half of them. But when you introduce a problem, you say, guys, we have 5 years, we may not achieve everything. Let's sort out PF because it's the main opposition political party. You lose focus. I want to appeal to, obviously, my colleagues in the UPND. You have a mandate up to 2026. There are expectations from the people of Zambia. If you focus on those expectations, chances of you resolving those problems are very high. But if you divide your attention, if you have people seated telling His Excellency the President that, sir, people are talking about PF when we go in these compounds, so let's take them out of the picture, you are losing focus. Focus should be, how do we ensure that issues pertaining to alternative sources of energy are put on the table? How do we ensure that health facilities are not load-shedded? How do we ensure that in Kamfinsa constituency, where there's a water problem, we do not load shedding Nkana water and sewerage? Because Nkana water sewerage cannot pump water to my home because, unfortunately, they don't have electricity. So those are things that our government should focus on. So Bamwanga, Woimakando, the ruling party should focus on the job. They focus on the job, they'll get it right. Daliso was talking about the need for new players in the patriotic front, in the political dispensation. That's a discussion for another day. There are new parliamentarians. I'm new in parliament. I want to serve the people of Kamfinsa for a 5-year term of office, deliver on commitments that I made with my team, and I believe that it is possible for us in Kamfinsa to achieve more. Does PF need more new people to participate? Yes, we need more new people to participate. I hold the view that if we have more young people like-minded, we learn a few things from those that have served, because you can't just discard an old person. They have something to share. There are mistakes they made that they want you not to make the same mistakes. There are mistakes us as young people make. We need old people to tell us, that way we'll move very fast.
Your concluding remarks in 30 seconds.
My concluding remarks in 30 seconds. Is there going to be 9 by-elections in Zambia? I don't see us having 9 by-elections. Do I see 4 by-elections? I don't see us having 4 by-elections. Do I see any by-election taking place in the 9 constituencies? I don't see those by-elections. Why? Number one, the declaration by the Deputy Speaker was illegal. Article 57 of the Standing Orders of Parliament does not allow a ruling to be made on an item which is not on the agenda. Do we have an active matter in court? Yes, Shimila Ndutulela Ndapolelo Shidimu court. The court hasn't yet ruled on our issues. And I believe that once the courts rule, then we can come here and discuss whether there will be by-elections or not. So I'm confident na alawekela ku parliament very soon to alawekela tukonkanye poku bombela abena Kamfinsa.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable, for coming through, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is why we come to the end of today's edition of Chatback. Thank you so much to everybody that called, everybody that texted, and also our Facebook viewers. Thank you so much. Up next is the news. Then just after the news, we do have today's edition of Lifestyle with Chipo. Have a great and restful weekend, and remember to share Jesus boldly.
Chatback on RCV News.